Hey, Mixed Nutcases and Dog Days podcasting listeners. This is Nuke Chess, and this is my entry for day 7 of the Dog Days podcasting. I am recording it the next morning because I knew I wanted to talk about what we did, and when I got home, I just didn't want to record, and that's okay. See, this is the challenge with the loosest rules, famously the loosest rules, where you can make up your own rules as you go along. I am late, and that's okay. And according to my own rules, I'm late, but I still wanted to do this recording for day 7. Tech and I went to Night Waves, which is an event that happens 3 times, I think, a summer at our local water park, which is, I think originally it was you had to be 19 plus to enter, and then at some point in the summer, they changed it to 21 plus. So I'm good with that. The older it is, the better. So you go at night. They open up at it's 7 to, I think it's 7 to 11, and you get into the water park. Now, most of the water park is closed. They have 2 of the slides that are open. One of the half of the splash pad where you can hang out and get the big bucket dumped on you, and the wave pool open. And they've got on one side, they've got a band playing, and then on the other side, it's DJ music. And then at some point in the evening, the foam party starts, and so you get the absolutely drenched in foam. And they're serving alcohol, and it's a great time. And what's really neat is they have a service there where you can drive, park there, and then if you you can schedule it ahead of time, or if you change your mind halfway through the evening, you can hire somebody to drive you home in your car. So you get home and your car gets home, which is really cool. So it's a pretty neat setup. And we'd been trying to go all summer, but every time we went to buy tickets, they were sold out. So the last time we tried to buy tickets, they were sold out. So I just bought tickets for last night. I was like, I'm not waiting. I'm going to get these tickets. It's a little pricey, but at the same time, if you're going to go out to a club, you're probably going to spend a lot, similar prices. So we already had season passes, so getting in wasn't that big of a deal. It was basically paying for an upgrade for us. So that wasn't so bad. For anyone who doesn't have a season pass, you're buying essentially the day pass and then the night waves. So it's just how it goes. And then the drinks were it was $15 because you buy drink tickets. It was $15 a drink, which was a little, but you're kind of locked in there, right? I'm speaking Canadian too, so if you're in the US, you got to understand. You got to do the 70% conversion thing. So it was $15, every time we bought drink tickets, we'd buy 2, and so it was 31 something. So essentially you're spending $15 plus tax on drink tickets. Normally during the day, you can bring outside food. You can't bring any outside food because they have no, all the picnic areas are blocked off. They have, eating areas, but none of the picnic areas are open. And then, so they sell you the basics of their food, none of the shawarma, which is really good during the day. But, basically you're walking up and you're grabbing food that's already made, and it's a burger, a cheeseburger, a hot dog, pizza, poutine, things like that. And then the drinks are all either canned beer or canned cocktails. So anyway, you're paying for almost everything. One thing you're not paying for is you're not paying for parking, where usually you're paying for parking every time you go. And it's I don't know, $20 to park. I mean, it's a water park. They're going to get you coming and going. So, all that aside, totes worth it. Being able to go to the water park, one, without children, amazing. Absolutely amazing. So when we got there, we went straight for the wave pool, and there was barely anyone in there, and they just kept the waves going and going and going, and it was awesome. And we were having so much fun, and the DJ music was going, and we just had so much fun. And then after a while, we got out and we went and got a drink. And then we walked around a little and we're soaking things in, and that was a lot of fun. And then unfortunately, all the slides, you need a second rider, and I'm not comfortable on those slides. So Tech didn't get to do any slides. It'd be great to go with somebody who likes doing stuff in the future so that he could go, because none of the lines were too long. I mean, usually during the day, unless you get there really early, or you're in a lull time, most of the slides you're going to be waiting a very long time to get out. Like they're wrapping around. Whereas getting on these slides during Night Waves, there's no wrapping around. It's just going down the ladder is how long the slide is. So that was kind of cool. But we're walking around. We're people watching. I will tell you, there were a lot of beautiful people. My head was like on a swivel. So many beautiful bathing suits, so many beautiful people. People watching was awesome. And, we were just hanging out and talking and whatnot and dancing and so forth. And then, we went back in the wave pool. And I got to tell you, dancing in the water, I feel like I have rhythm and I feel like I know how to dance. It's so much more fun. So we were dancing in the water and we were having fun in the wave pool, and it was just a great time. Now, I made a rookie mistake. Yesterday at work, I was so busy from the time I sat down in my chair to the time that Tech came home from work. I had not moved. I had not eaten. I had not done anything. When Tech came home, I made myself some oatmeal, and then I went back to work and finished up work. So I really didn't have it. And then I had some Cheetos before we left. I should have eaten before we left. I'm going to tell you that right now. So basically, I had an empty stomach. I had a drink. I have become a lightweight. I used to not be, but I got to tell you, as in my old lady years, I am becoming such a lightweight when it comes to alcohol. And that's fine. So then we're in the wave pool. We're dancing. And I'm having so much fun. Like, we're right where the waves are super big. So you crouch down and then you jump up, and then you crouch down and you jump up. And it's like you're doing these super squats. And I'm like, oh, this is actually really good exercise. And after a while, I got super duper cramps in my calves. And I was like, ooh, this is not so good. And I said, okay, after this song, I'm going to want to go in. My calves are starting to cramp. And I said, that's weird. That never happened. And, Tech is like, well, you didn't eat anything and you drank on an empty stomach. I was like, oh yeah, I guess so. And then the song changed and we started to ride the waves in. And I thought, I'm not using my calves when riding the waves in, so that's not a big deal. Oh my gosh, they spasmed so much. I struggled and I couldn't get up. And then Tech helped me up, and it was okay, but it was just like my calves were like, stop. Looking back on it, I think it was all of those motions is my toes were super, super pointed. And that's where I was kind of, even though I didn't think I was using my calves and riding the waves, the pointed toes is what kind of did it. Anyway, that really hurt. So we went and we got food and I did not get another drink. But that's okay. I wasn't planning because I'm the DD. And so we got some food, and I got a chicken burger, and we shared a poutine, and I had a milk because I was like, that's going to help. Yeah, so we, my calves started to feel a little better, and we walked around again, and we were dancing again, and then the foam party had started, so we went into the foam party, and it was really weird. So first, like, all the foam's on the ground, right? And you're walking in the foam, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. The foam is kind of like warm. And they got these two big cannons that they're spraying them, and you're getting closer and closer and closer. And you're like throwing foam at people. But as you get closer, when the foam cannon hits you, it's cold. it was really weird. I did not expect it to be cold. But it was so much fun. And yeah, we did the foam party a couple of times and I just had a blast. At one point, I got a full face of foam and I couldn't see anything and I couldn't breathe. And I was like, all right. And I'm trying to wipe it away and it's not quite wiping away, but I'm just walking out. And then it cleared up and I was like, oh, wow, that's wild. And it was a lot of fun. And then we were back in the wave pool and we were dancing. And then, as we were dancing, so there's like one part of the wave pool where they've got like a cutout thing. So you're kind of in the lee of the waves and, you're still getting waves, but they're not like too big. And so we're dancing there and we're having fun there. And, there's lifeguards all around. And all of a sudden we see one of the lifeguards just walk to the edge and drop. And I was with his big yellow floaty thing. And everyone just kind of stopped and they stopped the waves when that was happening. And everyone's just watching. And he goes and he rescues a girl who basically just needed to understand that she could put her feet down. She was just getting too caught up in the waves and he helped her and he brought her over. And then everybody in the entire wave pool in the entire area, they all started cheering. Once everybody realized she was okay, they all started cheering. They all started, chanting and for the lifeguard and for the woman. And it was great. It was so much fun. And like everybody was kind of on the same vibe. And it was really cool to watch because it was like, whoop. And all the other lifeguards are like, oh man, he got to do the rescue. We never get to do a rescue. But he did. It was perfect. It was flawless. Like, I swear I could hear the Baywatch music. If the DJ had it, they would have played the Baywatch music. Like, they played a special song and everything, and everybody was chanting, and it was really cool. And then, she was safe. She was fine. And the party started back up again, and it was awesome. But everybody just kind of had a great vibe. And there were times where like there was a lot of splashing in part of the wave pool. And so like I didn't like that because if I get splashed in my eyes, then it's difficult for me to see where I am and everything. And when you're wearing glasses and everything, it's a little tricky. But they were all having fun. So I was like, all right, I'll just go over here. The other thing that I noticed is that there were at least 3, maybe 4, because I'm not unsure about one of them. There were people there with someone who has developmental disabilities. And it was so neat because we see people with developmental disabilities at the water park all the time, but it was so neat to see them being able to experience something like this and that they were clearly with somebody who was keeping an eye on them and making sure that they were going to be okay and everything, but also that they had somebody to experience everything with and that they were, just out and being able to do this in an environment where there weren't little kids. As much as it's great for me to be able to experience this without little kids, I'm sure that people in that situation, it's even more. And it was great. Everybody was having such a great time. There was such a vibe. Like, we didn't know anybody else there, but we were, you were chatting, you were sharing jokes. Things would drip by. I'm like, is that somebody scrunchy going by? And then if it's nobody, Tech would just grab it and throw it up on the deck. And at one point it was the inner padding of a suit. And we're like, oh, I never saw that. I found out an earring, we're just putting them all up in the same place. But everybody's vibing. Everybody's cool. Like, nobody's having a hard time with no one. You bump into someone and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, and it's great. Nobody cares. I didn't see any fights. I was expecting, with that much alcohol, I was expecting fights. I did see quite a few quite inebriated people needing help to walk. But like, nobody was really in danger. Anybody that was really, really drunk, they had somebody there with them. Like, everybody had somebody, right? So everybody had somebody there looking out for them. There were all sorts of groups together, and it was just really cool. So we're definitely going to do it next year. I am going to eat before going. And I'm hoping we can get other people to come because that was awesome. All right. And so that was Nutty Bites at Nightwaves. If you've got something like that, definitely do it. Don't balk at the price. Totes worth it.
Nutty Bites is produced by Nimlas Studios under a Creative Commons Attribution No Commercial Non-Derivatives 3.0 International License. That means you can't change it without my permission. You can share it and send it to your friends. Just link back to me, my site, and everything. We live at nimlas.org, which has links to everything social media, including facebook.com/group/nuttybites and patreon.com/nukejoss, or call 347-NUTTY42.